Hidden in your kitchen right now might be one of nature's most powerful cellular defense transformers. Scientists discovered these common foods contain compounds so potent they trigger measurable changes in your body's natural protection mechanisms within hours. Yet 99% of people consume them completely wrong, destroying every benefit before these compounds even reach your cells. When consumed correctly at the optimal time, these activate your body's natural defense systems, the same mechanisms that have protected humans for millennia. We're not talking about prevention or treatment here. We're talking about supporting the cellular processes your body already uses to identify and eliminate abnormal cells every single day. Your body is already equipped with sophisticated defense mechanisms. Right now, as you're reading this, your cells are running quality control checks, identifying damaged DNA, and activating repair systems. This happens constantly. The problem? Modern diets flood your system with compounds that suppress these natural processes while starving your cells of the specific nutrients needed to run them efficiently. Think of it like this: your body has a security system, but someone cut the power and disabled the cameras. These four foods don't create new defenses, they restore the ones you already have. What we call cellular defense refers to multiple interconnected systems. There's phase I and phase II detoxification in your liver, where your body processes and eliminates potential threats. There's autophagy, where cells break down and recycle damaged components. There's DNA repair machinery that fixes genetic damage before it becomes permanent. And there's apoptosis, the programmed cell death that removes cells that have gone rogue. Every one of these systems depends on specific compounds, and three of the four foods we're about to discuss contain them in forms your body can actually use. Here's what most people miss. It's not just about eating these foods. It's about preparation, timing, temperature control, and understanding which compounds need to be activated before consumption. A study published in Food and Function in 2020 compared the bioavailability of protective compounds in properly prepared foods versus conventionally prepared foods. The difference? Up to 400% more active compounds reached the bloodstream when preparation followed specific protocols. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between wasting your time and actually supporting your cellular systems. Now, the compound groups that matter most fall into several categories. Glucosinolates break down into isothiocyanates that activate detoxification enzymes. Polyphenols modulate cellular signaling pathways. Organosulfur compounds support DNA repair mechanisms. Catechins trigger autophagy and reduce oxidative stress. You don't need to memorize these names. You just need to understand that each works through different pathways, which is why combining them creates synergistic effects that single compounds can't match. Let's start with number 4, and I'm going to be specific about measurements and timing because that's where most people fail. Food number 4, cruciferous vegetables, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. These aren't just nutritious vegetables. They contain a compound called sulforaphane that activates your phase II detoxification enzymes with remarkable efficiency. A study published in PMC in 2019 tracked adults who consumed cruciferous vegetables daily for 8 weeks. Their cellular markers for detoxification enzyme activity increased by 40%. But here's what the researchers emphasized. Only participants who prepared the vegetables correctly showed these results. The issue is an enzyme called myrosinase. When you chop or chew cruciferous vegetables, myrosinase converts glucoraphanin into sulforaphane, the active compound your body actually uses. But myrosinase is destroyed by heat. When you throw broccoli into boiling water or roast it at high heat immediately after cutting, you're destroying the enzyme before it can do its job. You end up with nutritious vegetables, sure, but you're missing the specific compounds that support cellular defense. Here's exactly how to prepare these correctly. Take your broccoli or whatever cruciferous vegetable you prefer and chop it into florets. Now stop. Don't cook it yet. Let it sit on your cutting board for 10 minutes. That's it. Just 10 minutes. During this time, the myrosinase enzyme is actively converting glucoraphanin into sulforaphane. After 10 minutes, you can cook it however you like, though light steaming preserves more compounds than boiling or roasting. Robert, a software engineer from Seattle, changed his preparation method after learning this. He used to throw frozen broccoli straight into boiling water for dinner. After switching to fresh broccoli, chopping it, waiting 10 minutes, then lightly steaming for just 3 to 4 minutes, he noticed something interesting within 2 weeks. His energy levels improved, and his digestion, which had always been sensitive, became noticeably more stable. Was it just the broccoli? Probably not entirely, but he was finally getting the compounds in a form his body could use. The measurement matters too. Research suggests about 1.5 cups of chopped cruciferous vegetables daily provides enough glucosinolates to meaningfully support detoxification pathways. You can split this between meals or have it all at once. Broccoli sprouts are even more concentrated, just 1 ounce provides sulforaphane equivalent to 1.5 pounds of mature broccoli. If you go the sprouts route, you still need to chew them thoroughly or blend them to activate the myrosinase. One important note for safety: if you take thyroid medication, particularly levothyroxine, cruciferous vegetables can interfere with absorption when consumed in very large amounts. This doesn't mean avoid them, it means don't suddenly start eating 3 cups daily without spacing it away from your medication. Take your thyroid medication, wait at least 4 hours, then have your cruciferous vegetables. Most people have no issues with normal dietary amounts. Food number 3. Berries. Raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, these contain ellagic acid and anthocyanins that modify cellular signaling in ways that support your body's quality control systems. A comprehensive review published in Nutrients in 2021 examined 17 studies on berry consumption and cellular health markers. What stood out wasn't just that berries provided protective compounds, it was how quickly these compounds affected cellular pathways. Within 2 to 4 hours of consuming 1 cup of mixed berries, participants showed measurable changes in inflammatory markers and cellular signaling molecules. Specifically, berries appear to support the Nrf2 pathway, which regulates your cell's response to oxidative stress. Think of Nrf2 as a master switch that turns on protective genes. When it's activated, your cells produce more antioxidant enzymes, more detoxification proteins, more DNA repair machinery. Here's something that surprised researchers. Frozen berries often deliver more beneficial compounds than fresh ones. Why? Because berries are typically flash frozen at peak ripeness, when anthocyanin content is highest. Fresh berries at the grocery store might have been picked early and shipped for days, losing compounds along the way. A study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found frozen blueberries retain 97% of their anthocyanin content after 6 months, while fresh berries lost up to 25% of these compounds within just 3 days of harvest. But here's the key most people miss: you need to consume berries with some fat for optimal absorption. Anthocyanins and ellagic acid are partially fat-soluble, meaning they absorb better when paired with healthy fats. This doesn't mean drowning them in cream. A tablespoon of almond butter, a handful of walnuts, or even adding berries to full-fat Greek yogurt increases the bioavailability significantly. Linda, a retired nurse from Austin, started adding 1 cup of frozen mixed berries to her breakfast every morning. She'd blend them with half an avocado, unsweetened almond milk, and a tablespoon of ground flaxseed. Within 3 weeks, she noticed her joint stiffness, something she'd attributed to age, diminished noticeably. Her doctor ran her routine blood work and found her CRP, a marker of systemic inflammation, had dropped from 3.8 to 2.1 milligrams per liter. Normal range is under 3, but lower is generally better for long-term health. The measurement is straightforward: 1 cup of mixed berries daily. You can rotate between raspberry, blackberry, strawberry, and blueberry throughout the week. Each has slightly different polyphenol profiles, and variety ensures you're getting a broad spectrum of protective compounds. Consume them with breakfast or as a mid-morning snack paired with nuts or nut butter. Timing matters less than consistency with berries, what matters is getting them daily. Let's pause here for a moment. You've now got 2 foods with 2 completely different mechanisms. Cruciferous vegetables activate detoxification enzymes through sulforaphane. Berries modulate cellular signaling through polyphenols. Neither one alone creates dramatic overnight changes. But consumed consistently, prepared correctly, they're supporting the systems your body uses every single day to maintain cellular health. You might be wondering, why not just take supplements with these compounds? Here's the thing: isolated compounds don't work the same way whole foods do. When you eat broccoli, you're not just getting sulforaphane, you're getting fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria, which produce their own protective metabolites. You're getting vitamin C that enhances sulforaphane stability. You're getting dozens of other phytonutrients that work together in ways we're still discovering. A sulforaphane pill gives you one compound. The whole food gives you an orchestra. The same applies to berry supplements. Anthocyanin extracts in capsules bypass your digestive system differently than whole berries. Your gut microbiome interacts with berry compounds, breaking them down into metabolites that have their own beneficial effects. Skip the whole food, and you skip that entire process. Now, what's coming next are the two most powerful options foods with compounds so well researched that universities have dedicated entire departments to studying their cellular effects. Want to know what surprised researchers most about these next two? The benefits didn't come from consuming large amounts. They came from precise preparation methods that most people accidentally skip. Food number two, garlic. Garlic contains organosulfur compounds that support DNA repair mechanisms with documented precision. A study published in the Journal of Nutritional Biochemistry in 2020 followed adults who consumed raw garlic daily for 8 weeks. Researchers measured specific cellular markers related to DNA integrity and oxidative stress response. The results showed a 35% improvement in DNA repair enzyme activity and a 28% reduction in markers of oxidative DNA damage. But here's what made this study different from previous garlic research. Only participants who prepared garlic using the specific crushing and weighting method showed these results. The active compound is allicin, but allicin doesn't exist in whole garlic cloves. When you crush or mince garlic, you rupture cell walls and allow an enzyme called alliinase to convert alliin into allicin. This happens within seconds. But allicin is unstable. It immediately begins breaking down into other organosulfur compounds, some beneficial, some less so. The breakdown pathway depends entirely on what you do in the next 10 minutes. If you crush garlic and immediately cook it, heat destroys alliinase before it can finish the conversion process. You get maybe 20% of the potential allicin formation. If you crush garlic and let it sit for 10 minutes before cooking, alliinase has time to complete the conversion. Studies using high-performance liquid chromatography show this waiting period increases allicin yield by up to 400%. That 10-minute window isn't arbitrary, it's the difference between garlic being mildly beneficial and garlic actually supporting cellular defense pathways. Here's exactly what to do. Take 1 to 2 cloves of fresh garlic. Peel them. Now crush them with the flat side of a knife or put them through a garlic press. Don't just slice them, you need to rupture as many cells as possible. Once crushed, leave the garlic sitting on your cutting board for 10 minutes. Set a timer if you need to. During this time, the allicin is forming and beginning its breakdown into beneficial organosulfur compounds like diallyl disulfide and S-allyl-cysteine. After 10 minutes, you can add the garlic to your cooking. If you're making a stir fry, crush your garlic first, let it sit, then start preparing your other ingredients. Add the garlic near the end of cooking for just 1 to 2 minutes. If you're making a salad dressing, crush the garlic, wait 10 minutes, then mix it with olive oil and vinegar. The oil helps preserve some of the organosulfur compounds and improves their absorption. Maria, a high school teacher from Portland, started using this method after years of throwing minced garlic straight into hot pans. She'd crush 2 cloves every evening, let them sit while she prepared vegetables, then add them to whatever she was cooking. Within 6 weeks, she noticed her seasonal allergies, which typically hit hard every spring, were significantly milder. Her doctor mentioned during a routine check that her inflammatory markers had improved. Maria can't say for certain it was only the garlic, but the timing aligned perfectly with her preparation change. Now, let's talk about raw versus cooked. Raw garlic provides the highest concentration of allicin and organosulfur compounds, but raw garlic is also harsh on the digestive system for many people, and it can cause significant breath odor that affects social interactions. Lightly cooked garlic added at the end of cooking and heated for just 1 to 2 minutes retains about 60% to 70% of the beneficial compounds while being much easier to tolerate. For most people, this is the sweet spot. The measurement is 1 to 2 cloves daily. That's about 3 to 6 grams of fresh garlic. You can take this all at once or split it between meals. Some people prefer crushing garlic into olive oil and using it as a finishing oil drizzled over cooked vegetables. Others add it to homemade hummus or salad dressings. Find what works for your palate and your digestive system. Here's the critical safety warning. Garlic has mild blood-thinning effects. If you're taking warfarin, aspirin, clopidogrel, or any anticoagulant medication, consuming concentrated garlic daily can increase your bleeding risk. This doesn't mean you can't have garlic, it means you need to discuss it with your healthcare provider so they can monitor your clotting times appropriately. If you're scheduled for surgery, most surgeons recommend stopping concentrated garlic consumption at least 1 week before the procedure. Normal dietary amounts in cooked food are generally fine, but daily therapeutic amounts require medical awareness. Food number 1, green tea. Green tea contains a compound called epigallocatechin gallate EGCG for short that activates cellular autophagy with documented efficiency. Autophagy is your cell's recycling system. When it's working properly, your cells break down damaged proteins, clear out malfunctioning organelles, and essentially clean house. When autophagy declines, which happens naturally with age and is accelerated by poor diet, damaged cellular components accumulate. This accumulation is associated with numerous age-related conditions. A comprehensive study published in BMC Medicine in 2018 tracked over 40,000 adults for 11 years. Those who consumed 3 or more cups of green tea daily showed a 28% improvement in biomarkers associated with cellular health compared to non-consumers. But what caught researchers' attention wasn't just the consumption, it was how the tea was prepared. Participants who brewed tea with boiling water showed minimal benefits. Those who used water between 160 and 180 degrees Fahrenheit and steeped for exactly 3 to 5 minutes showed the strongest cellular marker improvements. Temperature destroys catechins, the family of compounds that includes EGCG. When you pour boiling water directly onto green tea leaves, you denature approximately 40% of the catechins within the first minute. The delicate molecular structure breaks down under extreme heat. Studies using mass spectrometry analysis show optimal catechin extraction occurs at 160 to 175 degrees Fahrenheit. At this temperature, you extract maximum EGCG while preserving its bioactive structure. Steeping time matters too. Under 3 minutes, you don't extract enough catechins. Over 6 minutes, you start extracting more tannins, which bind to the catechins and reduce their absorption in your digestive system. The sweet spot is 3 to 5 minutes. Set a timer. This isn't about preference, it's about chemistry. Here's the preparation protocol. Boil your water, then let it cool for about 5 minutes. You're aiming for water that's hot but not boiling around 170 degrees if you want to measure it, but visually, it should have stopped bubbling actively. Pour this over your green tea leaves or tea bag. Steep for 4 minutes exactly. Remove the tea bag or strain the leaves. Now here's the secret that multiplies absorption. Add a squeeze of fresh lemon juice. Research published in Molecular Nutrition and Food Research found that adding citrus to green tea increases catechin absorption by up to 500%. The vitamin C stabilizes EGCG in your digestive tract, preventing it from breaking down before your intestines can absorb it. Just half a teaspoon of lemon juice per cup is sufficient. You're not trying to make lemonade, you're creating an environment where EGCG survives the journey from your stomach to your bloodstream. Dr. James Chen, an integrative medicine physician in San Francisco, has recommended this exact protocol to his patients for over a decade. He tracked 37 patients who committed to drinking 2 to 3 cups of properly prepared green tea daily for 12 weeks. 29 of them showed measurable improvements in inflammatory markers, particularly CRP and IL-6. The patients who added lemon showed consistently better results than those who didn't. Dr. Chen emphasizes one critical point: drink green tea between meals, not with meals, because the catechins can interfere with iron absorption when consumed with food. Timing your green tea matters. Drink it at least 1 hour before or 2 hours after meals. This maximizes catechin absorption and minimizes interference with nutrient uptake from food. Many people find a cup mid-morning and a cup mid-afternoon works well. Some prefer 1 cup after waking and 1 in early evening, though the caffeine content means drinking it too late can interfere with sleep for caffeine-sensitive individuals. The measurement is 2 to 3 cups daily. Each cup should use about 2 grams of green tea leaves, roughly 1 teaspoon of loose leaf, or 1 standard tea bag. Quality matters here. Higher quality green teas contain more EGCG. Japanese green teas like sencha and gyokuro typically have higher catechin content than Chinese varieties, though both work. Matcha, which is powdered whole tea leaves, provides even higher concentrations because you're consuming the entire leaf rather than just an infusion. Safety considerations: green tea contains caffeine, about 30 to 50 milligrams per cup compared to 95 milligrams in coffee. If you're sensitive to caffeine, limit consumption to morning and early afternoon. Green tea can reduce iron absorption by up to 60% when consumed with meals, which is why timing it between meals is essential. People with iron deficiency anemia should be particularly careful and might need to adjust their iron supplementation timing. If you're taking certain medications, particularly blood thinners, beta blockers, or certain antibiotics, the compounds in green tea can interact. Discuss with your healthcare provider if you're on multiple medications. Putting it all together, now you have four foods with four distinct mechanisms. Cruciferous vegetables activate phase 2 detoxification through sulforaphane. Berries modulate cellular signaling through anthocyanins and ellagic acid. Garlic supports DNA repair through organosulfur compounds. Green tea triggers autophagy through EGCG. Each one works through different pathways, which is why combining them creates effects that single compounds cannot match. Here's a realistic daily integration. Morning. Brew your first cup of green tea with the proper temperature and timing. Add lemon. Drink it before breakfast. Breakfast. Have 1 cup of mixed berries with full-fat Greek yogurt and a tablespoon of almond butter. Mid-morning, 2nd cup of green tea between breakfast and lunch. Lunch. Include 1 cup of lightly steamed broccoli or Brussels sprouts that you chopped and waited 10 minutes before cooking. Mid-afternoon, 3rd cup of green tea if you tolerate the caffeine, or skip if you're sensitive. Dinner. Crush 2 cloves of garlic, let them sit 10 minutes, then add to your evening meal near the end of cooking. What you don't want to do is consume all of these simultaneously. Spacing them throughout the day ensures optimal absorption of each compound. The catechins in green tea can interfere with iron absorption from vegetables if consumed together. The fiber in cruciferous vegetables can reduce absorption of some polyphenols if eaten at the exact same time as berries. You're not trying to create a superfood smoothie with everything blended together. You're creating a daily rhythm where each food gets its moment for maximum bioavailability. Some people worry about interactions between these foods themselves. The reality is they work synergistically when spaced appropriately. The sulforaphane from cruciferous vegetables upregulates detoxification enzymes that help process compounds from garlic. The antioxidants in berries help protect EGCG from oxidation in your digestive system. This is whole food synergy compounds supporting each other's absorption and activity. Adjust this protocol for your individual needs and schedule. If you work nights, shift the timing but maintain the spacing. If you can't tolerate 3 cups of green tea, start with 1 and gradually increase. If raw or lightly cooked garlic bothers your stomach, reduce to 1 clove instead of 2. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is consistency with proper preparation. Critical safety summary. Let's consolidate the safety considerations because combining these foods requires awareness of cumulative effects. Both garlic and green tea have mild blood-thinning properties. When consumed together daily, this effect can be additive. If you're on warfarin, aspirin, clopidogrel, or any prescription anticoagulant, you absolutely need to inform your healthcare provider before starting this protocol. They may need to monitor your INR or adjust your medication dosage. This isn't optional, it's essential for your safety. For people with upcoming surgery, discontinue concentrated garlic and high-dose green tea at least 1 week before your procedure. The blood-thinning effects, while mild, can increase surgical bleeding risk. Resume after your surgeon clears you post-operatively. Normal dietary amounts of these foods are generally fine, but therapeutic daily doses require temporary suspension. Pregnancy and breastfeeding require caution. Green tea in moderate amounts, 1 to 2 cups daily, is generally considered safe, but high doses haven't been adequately studied during pregnancy. The caffeine content also factors in, as most obstetricians recommend limiting total daily caffeine to 200 milligrams during pregnancy. Garlic in food amounts is safe, but concentrated therapeutic doses haven't been studied sufficiently in pregnant women. Cruciferous vegetables and berries are safe in normal dietary amounts. Thyroid conditions require spacing cruciferous vegetables away from thyroid medication. Kidney disease requires limiting potassium intake, which affects how much of certain berries you should consume. Liver disease requires discussing green tea consumption with your hepatologist, as extremely high doses have been associated with liver enzyme elevation in susceptible individuals, though this is rare with normal tea consumption. Who should avoid completely? People with severe bleeding disorders, people allergic to any of these specific foods, people taking multiple medications that increase bleeding risk without medical supervision. For everyone else with chronic conditions or on prescription medications, the rule is simple. Discuss this protocol with your healthcare provider. Show them this information. Ask them to consider potential interactions with your specific medication regimen. The evidence summary. The research supporting these 4 foods spans over 2 decades and includes hundreds of peer-reviewed studies. Cruciferous vegetables have been studied in populations from Asia to Europe, consistently showing detoxification enzyme activation when consumed properly. Berry research includes both observational studies tracking tens of thousands of people and controlled trials measuring specific biomarkers. Garlic research dates back to the 1980 seconds and has only grown more sophisticated as analytical techniques improved. Green tea studies include massive epidemiological research from Japan, where consumption is cultural and controlled interventional trials measuring specific cellular processes. What makes this evidence compelling isn't just one study. It's the consistency across different research groups, different populations, different methodologies, all pointing toward the same mechanisms. When a study at Harvard shows sulforaphane activating NRF2 pathways, and a completely independent study in Japan shows the same effect using different measurement techniques, that's when scientific confidence builds. The biomarker improvements documented across these studies are measurable and meaningful. We're talking about CRP reductions of 15% to 30%, improvements in oxidative stress markers of 20% to 40%, enhanced DNA repair enzyme activity of 25% to 35%. These aren't subtle effects that require sophisticated equipment to detect. These are changes that show up in standard blood work when measured before and after consistent consumption. When you prepare these foods correctly and consume them consistently, you're applying peer-reviewed science that doctors and researchers have validated across multiple continents and decades of study. This isn't folk medicine or traditional remedy without modern backing. This is documented cellular biochemistry translated into practical daily actions. Tonight, choose one of these four foods. Just one. Prepare it exactly as described: temperature, timing, waiting periods, all of it. Pay attention over the next week to how your body responds. Notice your energy levels. Notice your digestion. Notice subtle changes in how you feel. Some people report changes within days. Others notice differences only when they look back over weeks. Either timeline is normal. This isn't about overnight transformation. It's about providing your cellular defense systems with the specific compounds they need to function optimally. Your body already knows how to protect itself. These foods simply support the processes already running in your cells every single moment. The science is clear, the benefits are documented, and the choice is yours.